Good afternoon, good afternoon. Today marks the day of a new thing for me. I am calling this live tutorials that I'm going to be doing on YouTube, Everyday Keto. And when I say everyday keto, I mean everyday keto, everyday real life, everyday, like, don't be surprised if while I'm trying to do this, my new puppies, who are just now 3 months old, start barking and fussing. I hope I have wore them out enough that they don't, and they might take a nap, but I'm just putting it out there. This is the real deal. So, all right, so today I'm going to do something I've done before, but I haven't specifically highlighted or just, how do I put this? Let's see, back when I first started my keto journey, I wanted pizza. And so all the rage was fathead pizza dough, which it is good. Whoever created fathead pizza dough, let me tell you, they were genius. I called fathead pizza dough the holy grail of pizza for keto. There are other things out there. There's, oh heck, cauliflower pizza. There are all meat pizza crusts. There are just different variations of it. But again, that was a lot to take in, and it still didn't quite taste like pizza to me. I mean, it was a good substitute, but it didn't taste like the real deal. I'm trying to get this going. My grandson had this stuck on some gamer thing here. Let's see here. YouTube. I'll just go to my channel. That way I can see what's going on. I am live, and now I can turn it down. There we go. And I have glasses around here somewhere, but heck, I'm still keeping up with puppies. Let's see. I see a couple of people popping in. That's great. Hey, if you're new to Keto for Real Life People and you haven't subscribed, please do so. And hit the notification button while you're there, and that way you'll get notified when Keto for Real Life People is going live. Keto for Real Life People, mainly me, Nancy, your host with the most. Thank you very much. All right, guys, so I decided today to highlight a pizza crust that's just as fast, just as easy as fathead pizza dough, but tastes so much more like the real authentic bread crust. It does have the cheese in it, but it smooths out, I think, way better than the almond flour did. And the flour I'm going to use today, let's talk ingredients, is Lupin flour. All right. Let me discuss this with you, because every time I do a new recipe and I'm using Lupin flour, somebody always says, hey, what is that? Well, Lupin flour is a plant-based flour ground from the lupin plant, which is part of the soy peanut family. But unlike soy or peanut, it is anti-inflammatory. It's non-inflammatory. It's really super low on the glycemic index, okay? It doesn't cause the inflammation. It doesn't spike or raise your blood sugar. I've been using this now just over a year, and I love the things that I can do with Lupin flour. One of the wonderful things about Lupin flour is that it is very, very, very high fiber. So if for you keto, I like my fiber. I love my keto. I like both. Sometimes I feel carnivore, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like fiber, sometimes I don't. So a quarter cup of Lupin flour carries 12 grams of carbohydrates, but it carries 11 grams of fiber. So it's 1 net carb per quarter cup. Most recipes I do, I use a half a cup. A half a cup of Lupin flour equals 1 cup of traditional wheat flour or 1 cup of almond flour. So when I use a cup of this, I'm usually dividing that into multiple servings, depending on what I'm making. For instance, if I'm making a pizza and I cut it into 6 to 8 servings, I've only got 2 net carbs that are being divided by 8 or 6. So it comes down to less than 1 net carb. Another ingredient that I'm using, y'all, is the Now brand Psyllium husk. I have a bad habit of when I'm doing a cooking tutorial to just get off into this and just start running off the top of my head. And I sometimes say psyllium powder, sometimes I say psyllium husk, but I always use Now Wholesome brand whole husks, okay? And the reason I do this is it's convenient and easy to buy in my local area. But when I'm making my breads, I use this because it doesn't turn purple. Some people find purple bread or purple crust to be an issue when it gets hot. So, and I only use about a tablespoon. This, again, I think it has 8 carbs per tablespoon, but 7 grams of fiber. This is something if you've had trouble, well, let's just say you're having a little trouble going to the potty, fiber is going to help you in that area. So anyways, we're only using 1 tablespoon of this. And then my other 2 ingredients that are a base for this are, my phone's sitting up here on top of my cream cheese and my mozzarella cheese. Those are the 4 ingredients. I do, when I'm making my pizza though, like to go ahead and add a 5th ingredient, and that is some baking powder, just to give a little rise. And I'm wondering if I should try baking soda because it's such a quick acting agent, but I just haven't got to it yet. So baking powder, or I might try baking soda at some point. But that's it. Now, to get started, guys, I guess we'll talk about toppings. I've just got some local store-bought jarred marinara sauce. It is low carb. I think it's 1 carb per quarter cup or something like that, but you can easily make your own. I'm also using what I have on hand today, okay? You can use an Alfredo sauce, whether you make it homemade or whether you buy your favorite low carb, sugar-free, keto brand. You can make any kind of pizza you want. You can make white pizzas. You can make chicken pizzas. You can make spinach. I mean, just be creative. You know, pizza is one of those things. You can make a taco pizza. Whatever taste you've got going on, that's what you do. So for me today, what I have on hand is red sauce, some pepperoni, some roasted red pepper slices, and some sliced Kalamata olives. Guys, we're gonna get started. Again, I don't know where I set my glasses down when I was looking for my AirPods, so it's always something with me. Hi from Cheryl, British Columbia. Can't wait. Can you use Lupin flour for waffles? And do you have a recipe for that? Yes, and yes, I do. As a matter of fact, ketoforreallifepeople.com, type in waffles. Those waffles, oh my gosh, you cannot tell. I fooled my family. You can't tell that they're not regular waffles. And they are on my website, which when the video is all said and done, that's when I'll post the links for what I'm doing right now, as well as my website. Let's see. Can this dough be frozen for future use? Yes, it can. So you can make this dough up, and you can bake it, like pre-bake it and have it ready and freeze it, or you can just freeze the dough. I recommend, if you're going to go as far as to make the dough up, go ahead and take the steps to make your pizza crust. Then you can freeze them and pull them out and make pizza whenever you want. And you're going to cut the time way down, make things a lot simpler for you. Glasses are on your head. Oh, thank you. Woohoo. Thank you, Roxy. This is my life. This is everyday keto for me. Hi, Lisa and Carol. Okay. All right. Now, I do have some things here I want to talk about. It's called my call to action. I'm going to work on doing it. This is a live video. So that means that Super Chat has been activated. If you see a sticker or you want to highlight a comment to make sure that I do see it, tap the button below. Yes, there's a small fee, but that goes to me. And that's offered by YouTube to help us creators out. Do what you want to do. I appreciate it. Now then, here we go. So I'm going to use this big bowl so that y'all can see through it. Move this out of the way. We are going to start with 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. Got all my handy dandy little measuring cups here. And I wanted to do this whole la 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 la. Well, I should have had a few la 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 la's in there. I should have known it. But I love it. I'm like, ooh, I'm in Italian mode. As a matter of fact, y'all, Elizabeth, I told her I was wanting to make pizza, was going to do it last night. I was going to do this video yesterday, but my dogs were not cooperating and the weather was terrible. So she still went ahead and made a pizza last night. And today we had a slice of it with salad. Oh, it was so tasty. Now I'm like, I like pizza. I know everybody loves pizza. I like pizza. Pizza's nice, you know? Everybody else loves pizza. So for me, I'll have to set this over to the side here. I'm gonna need it again. So 2 cups of mozzarella right there. And then we're gonna put a tablespoon of the whole psyllium husk right there. Just give it a little zip, zip, zip. Then we're gonna come into the Lupin flour, which is a 1/2 cup. And I need to get some new of these, some bigger containers, really, honestly. And I do the dip and scoop. This is a 1/4 cup measure, so I'm gonna do it twice. And you know, I take a little longer because I'm running my mouth and I'm talking. But when you're just making this dough, it is so fast. It's so simple. You know, it just whips right up. And then last but not least, a couple of tablespoons of some cream cheese. And if you let it set out for a little bit, it is much easier to work with. You just slide it off and tamp it down. So there's 1 tablespoon. And this is a forgiving recipe, y'all. This is so simple to do. I mean, if you add a little extra or something, you don't have to be quite as precise as, say, if you were making a cake or something like that. Get my handy dandy paper towels going. Now then, I'm gonna go ahead and add about 1.5 teaspoons of some baking powder because I just want to give it a little bit of rise to make it poof up a little dab. Oh, that's not 2, that'd be a whole. So go, that's 1. Go ahead and get that little halfer thing. A little half measure thing there going. There we go. 1.5 of those. Now, I like to just use my hands. If you want to use a spoon, guys. But I like to just toss the cheese and the flour and the psyllium husk and baking powder all together and let it coat it. It just distributes it evenly. And then I pop it into the microwave for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. Now, you can take, and I use the cheese to kind of break up the cream cheese a little bit. Sort of like when you're making a pizza crust or a pie crust in the real world, you kind of break it up into crumbles. So I like to do that. And then I just use the cheese to scrape that little bit of cream cheese off my fingers. Just like that. A little bit sticks, but not a biggie. And then I can wipe this off and I'm gonna pop it in the microwave, which I'm gonna be coming right up to you and passing right by as I go, hello. And I pop it in my microwave and start it off. Now then, while that is melting, I want to let you know, this is what I expect to make. These are my pizza pans, and I already have some parchment paper. Guys, it's imperative that you use parchment paper because this dough does stick. So parchment paper works. Some people say, well, can you use foil? I don't recommend it. You could probably spray it really well, but chances are it's still going to stick pretty well. A friend of mine, over this last weekend before last, she made it and she said, so I used my pizza stone and it didn't work. She said I should have used parchment paper on top of my pizza stone. So now I know not to use a pizza stone. I also have my oven preheated to 425 degrees. It is nice and hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this out, get my crust together, pop it in the oven for a few minutes. Then I'm going to top it just like I would if I was making fathead pizza dough, and then pop it back in the oven. I have yet to try to go from raw dough to straight pizza. I'm going to have to give it a try one of these times. But I think this method works out pretty good. And I'll show you when I pull it out, before topping it, if you're not in the mood right then and there, you can just do a little pre-bake, and then you can put those in your freezer or refrigerate them until you're ready to use them. Okay, so my cheese is melted. And no, my cheese did not fall off my cracker. I was talking to another friend yesterday up in Canada, and I was, saying my cheese about fell off my cracker, and she said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, my cheese was falling off my cracker." She had never heard that before. So you give this a stir, y'all. Let me see here. Let me get this out of your way. So you can see that it's kind of crumbly looking, and don't worry about that. That's kind of the way it looks. And you just want to get it in a ball, and it's kind of streaky too. You'll see little bits of the cream cheese that's, I just plop it out. Look, it's not, here's what I like about it. It's not like the fathead dough where you had to get your hands wet and pat, 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 pat. This you can just grab while it's warm. It's soft, it's easy to work with. You can take and break this down into 4 portions if you want and make personal pan pizzas, 3, however, whatever size you want. But you can work with this. You can roll this out. And it makes it so much easier to work with. And it's up to you to decide how big, how thick you want that crust. Do you want it to be a little poofier? Well, if it's going to be thicker, it'll stay in the oven a little longer. And you just kind of work with it. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly round. I try. And it's still pretty thick right here at this point. And you see how much easier it is to work with? It's kind of getting a little wonky shaped. A little wonky, but I don't mind. Maybe I should start picking it up from this side here. Let's see if I can't bring it around a little bit. A little bit. I do have this marble rolling pin. It was a gift from my daughter Daniele. And I think that's good. I am probably at about 1/8 of an inch thick on this. It feels pretty even. I'm gonna take one of my pans. You don't have to dock this. You don't have to worry about it puffing up and making a whole big thing of air pockets. And I'm actually gonna try to get this to go to the edge and fit my paper a little bit better. There we go. Because I went a little bit big on this. I'm going to stretch it to where I'm making it what I want it, y'all. I just need to slide it over. Slide with me, roll with me. Come on now, get up on there. Okay, there we go. Now see, at this point, there we go. I've got it all on there. And you can see it takes up most of this. And if I was being really precise, I probably would have gotten out, I didn't think to get out my pie or my pastry thing that has circles, but shape is not important to me because it's going to be going in my belly. I'm going to just pop it in there. It is 2:07. Shush. Siri, I'm not talking to you. Just not. Just not. Thank you. I'm going to set my timer. My timer is going to go for about 5 minutes, and then I'll check it. You just want it to start getting golden. That's all you need. Maybe 7 minutes because it's a whole large pizza. But I'll just check it, and then when it pops out, we'll top it, and we shall make pizza. I actually have 2 pans prepared because I thought, why not go ahead and make 2? Why not, right? This is one of these things too. I take my leftover pizza and I'm just going to use the same bowl because it's the same crust. And I'm going to start. I just want to make sure that I have enough to top my pizzas with. Again, we made pizza last night, so here we go. And I will start the whole process again. And get that first cup in there. Boom, I better stop right there because I need to top my pizza. I'll just stop right there. I'm not going to make the second one. Darn it. Well, you know, the other thing is too, I have made this using a blend of cheeses. So I could possibly make this with, let's just see what happens. I'll make this one with a little bit of cheddar. I think I have some. Yes, I do. So I'll use 1 cup of mozzarella. See, this is what I'm talking about. I love things that you can just, you don't have to be like, oh crap, I don't have the perfect ingredients. I ran out of this, or I'm short on that. Well, this one you can just be a little forgiving. So I'm going to go ahead and do a cup of the cheddar right there. And just give those 2 a blend. This is mild, finely shredded cheddar. And I'll set them over here. I'm going to take a second here and answer anybody's questions. Hello. Tina. Hi, Tina from Indiana right now in Yuma, Arizona. We met at KetoCon. Hey, Tina. Love you. Hope you are having a good week. I'm working on it. The sun is finally starting to shine. Show. Mid-Missouri. Boy, I bet. Did y'all get a lot of snow up in Missouri? Sharon says, coming in late. I'm going to try this recipe tonight. Can I use almond flour? Well, almond flour, if you go back to the fathead pizza dough, you could. It is 1 3/4 cups. It is an egg. It is, I don't know if you wanted to use that. You're not going to get the same texture, that's for sure. Hello, Cooking with Autism, Carolyn Weidmark. I miss eating calzones. Yes, yes. Maybe I shall make this second one into a calzone. How's that for you? Okay, because yes, I do. I take these, I make calzones. I stuff them with cheddar and ham. They are delicious. This is versatile. You can make breakfast pizzas, y'all. I make up these single crusts and I top them with a little keto country gravy. I put a little bit of sausage. I put a little bit of scrambled eggs. I put a little bit of jalapeno. I put a little bit of cheese. And I pop them out and they are scrumptious breakfast pizzas. I guess I'll just have to do a breakfast pizza video on that and just show you breakfast pizza. You might just lose your mind. I know I would. Okay, so we're gonna go back over here and I'm gonna go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of my Lupin flour. There we go. And you see now, because I'm in beast mode again here, back over here to get my cream cheese back out. And it's a funny thing, when I do the calzone, y'all, when I do this hot pocket or giant calzone, whatever you want to call it, I do not bake it first. I just make it and roll it and bake it, and it is wonderful. So that probably would answer my question for baking a pizza straight up from raw. We use a wonderful thick cut ham and cheddar and a Dijon mustard and roll that over and bake it, and it is fantastic. I think I need some whole psyllium husk, a tablespoon, which that one has now got cream cheese all over it. Keep this there, and I will pop that in there. And then back over here to the baking powder, which is a 1.5 teaspoons if you are keeping up with me today. I want to let y'all know I am doing another live in the keto. Oh shoot, I added 2 teaspoons. What the hell? Okay, see, that's everyday keto, y'all. That's live. That's me when I start getting to talking. I'm doing a live this afternoon at 3 o'clock, which is not very far off, in the Keto for Real Life People kitchen. And I will be doing group coaching in there. That is a group perk. If you are a Patreon supporter or an official Facebook supporter, I'm going to give that just a minute, then you can join in too. Make sure you tune in at 3 o'clock Central Time on Facebook in that kitchen. It is a membership only group, and have questions ready and I will answer anybody's problems, or if you're troubleshooting, we will get that going. So I'm going to just get that tossed up. You can add seasoning. Do you want to add some Italian seasoning? Let's add some Italian seasoning to this one. Parsley flakes. Let's see, garlic. I think I'll go with some garlic. Everything bagel seasoning. I've added that as well. Just kick in whatever you want to do. I'll just, oh, there's my Italian. Give a few shakes of Italian seasoning if you want. You can make these into breadsticks if you want. You can make this into cheesy bread if you like. So just besides pizza, this is what you can do with it. So I'm going to toss this one back in the microwave. 1 minute, 30 seconds. I'm going to grab a hot pad and pull this pizza out. Perfectly perfect. I want you to see this, guys. Do you see how lightly golden that is? It has got a nice poof to it. And at this point is I can go ahead and start making this pizza. If you like it saucy, make it saucy. But you can see this is not a small pizza by any means. This is the same size pizza that you would find from Domino's or Pizza Hut or your other favorite Papa John's or something like that. And it has a beautiful, beautiful crust. There we go. We just sauce that up. I like a little sauce, and I like it to have a little bit of chili in it too. So I think I'll grab some of that, and you can make this as deep as you like, you know. A little bit of this, a little bit of dun 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 dun, a little bit of a little bit of, okay. So here we go. So you want to add a little more zing? I like to kick it and add just a little bit of pepper flakes to my sauce just to give a little heat, not a requirement. A little bit of Parmesan just to give it that that little bit of salty underside that gives it that real deal flavor. And then I'm going to hit it with some cheese. And I am going to just go this way. You do as much as you want, boo. Somebody says to me one time, can you eat the whole thing? You can try, but no, you can't. You can try, but you just can't. This is so filling. It's so delicious. You cannot eat a whole pizza. I don't even think you can eat a half a pizza. Maybe 3 slices if you're cutting it into 6 or 8s or something like that. Get your cheese on there. Now, you can take some pepperoni, whatever your favorite, ham, sausage, what else? Linguiça, you know, get creative. Chicken, ground beef, bacon, crumbles. Oh, do whatever you like. And I'm not going to make this like loaded with it. I want to be able to see a little bit because I want to take and put some red peppers. Now, these are just in water, so they're not... And I'm just breaking it off in little pieces. I'm having little bites of red pepper here and there. It lend a nice smoky sweetness to any pizza, if that's your thing. You can add mushrooms, obviously, onions, bell peppers, whatever veggie floats your boat. And you just want to make sure that it's kind of just dispersed evenly. It's a no-brainer, right? And then I'm going to not use black olives. I don't have black olives, but did y'all know that the fat content in calamatas are the highest? Like for every 4 olives you eat, you get 5 grams of fat. So these are sliced. They're a nice fatty olive. They got a nice saltiness to them. And I'm just gonna put those in between the pepperonis over by the peppers, just to make it a little pretty. Give it some extra fat, because Lord knows we don't get enough fat on the keto diet, right? This is a big old chunk of olive there. There we go. Just for me, I don't want it overpowered because olives are pretty strong tasting. One of my favorite combinations is green chilies and Italian sausage, or pepperoni and jalapeno. That's another one, but I'm fresh out of that. So there we go. We have this. Maybe I'll just go ahead and use this little bit of cheese on there and kind of just top it off because I'm down at the end of that. And that's fine because I will do something with the other pizza. This is going to be wunderbar, you guys. It's going to be wonderful. So I'm going to take that one and just, all it has to do now is go back in the other oven until you get it nice and bubbly and the meat is hot. You can even let it, if it melts and you want it to go quicker, switch it to broil till you get that golden little bubbles on top. You will be just amazed. So into the oven it goes. Let me grab my phone real quick. And Cooking with Autism had to come and show a fellow keto person love. Oh, thank you so much. Not a lot of snow, but cold temps and snow, freezing, rain, sleet. Eesh, no thank you. When you said 3 o'clock, I was like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you're on the, no, I'm not on the West Coast. I am Midwest. I am on Central Time. I am in Texas. I love Fathead pizza. So does the family. I do too. I mean, it does, I like it, but this is just even easier. There's less steps. And for me, I had to really find an alternative to almond flour because if I eat too much almond flour too often, it is very inflammatory. And that is one thing about almond flour. It is inflammatory versus Lupin flour, which is not. So I made the switch. And I still occasionally use almond flour in some of my recipes, but I focus a lot more on developing recipes using Lupin flour and getting the measurements down right and changing it up. Melissa says, I will definitely try. Thanks, you're awesome. And what type of flour is it? It is a Lupin flour. I will share a link. I have an Amazon link. It is Wholesome Provisions Miracle Flour. It is, let's see, I just tossed the bag because I just emptied it. Is it? No, it's down in there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Let me see if I can find a bag that has not been opened somewhere in this pantry of mine. Oh my God, dealing with this is like terrible, y'all. Anyways, I know that I can tell you this. It's produced in the USA. It's non-GMO. It's 100% Lupin flour. Don't be fooled by Walmart selling a Lupin flour blend that has rice flour and some other things that aren't keto. Somebody, I think it was, I can't remember her channel name. I know her name, but anyways, one of my ladies on Facebook just shared a Carrington ground Lupin. It is not as fine as this by any means, but she did go ahead and put it through her food processor and get some use out of it, and she did make a porridge with it, so that's cool. But I find that this Lupin flour is fantastic. It is a sweet Lupin flour. I don't know, there's plants that aren't quite as what they call sweet, but this is. And another word of advice, do not eat this flour raw because it tastes terrible raw. It tastes bitter, very plant-like. It's actually kind of just like it's off-putting. But once you heat it up and cook it and bake it, then it's gone and it just tastes smooth and bread-like and flour-like. So, all right, let me grab this other bowl out of here. Oh, somebody's dreaming and having nightmares. Okay, so my spoon, I lost it, as I tend to do all the time. All right, so now I have a cheddar cheese, and I let it cool down. I have a cheddar cheese Lupin flour blend, and it's crumbly, and I kind of let it, let me see if I can just work this. Guys, you're gonna see me coming on here. I'm gonna give this to you. This is my very first time starting this process that I'm doing. In the last 2 years, I've done most of my tutorials live on Facebook, and then I would upload them to YouTube. Well, this year it's reversed. This year I will be doing my lives, my cooking tutorials once a week at least on YouTube, and they will be live, and I will share them back over to Facebook. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, but life was busy, and that's what that was. So I can take this one now, and it smells so good. Ugh. I can smell the herbs in it from the Italian seasoning. I can smell the garlic that I put on there. And I'm just, and I probably could have let this, I should have grabbed it right out of the microwave because it's a little bit started to cool down. If yours gets hardened and it won't do what you want it to do, pop it back in the microwave and it'll soften right back up. But this is so much easier, y'all, to work with than the fathead. The fathead, you can't do this because it sticks to everything. You have to put it between 2 sheets of parchment paper if you want to roll it, or you have to have your hands wet because it's so sticky. You can't just do this and shape it and pick it up. So now then, And this, because it has the cheddar in it, it's a little different because it melts a little bit differently than the mozzarella. But overall, I just want to show you what I'm going to do here. So I've got this again right at about 1/8 of an inch thick. Right here is a little thick still, just the titch. There we go. Now, what am I going to do? I can take some of this sauce if I want to, yes. And I'm only going to do half of that, just a little sauce. I can go ahead and throw some pepperonis in there. And I find if you stuff these babies really, really, really well, they work out just fine. I'm going to use the rest of this pepperoni. But I don't have any more mozzarella. A few peppers, why not? We'll just lay them this way. Just go down this direction here. There we go. That's that. I don't know that I want any. I'll take a little bit more sauce. Just give it a little drizzle for the top side. And because it is what it is, and I'm out of mozzarella, I'll go ahead and keep that thing going and put a little bit on top. Just. I usually do it long, and I'm doing it short and fat. Some red pepper flakes. For me, always red pepper flakes. A little Parmesan. You could fresh grate your own. But I don't have any of that, so I'll just give this a little bit of this. And then I'm going to just fold this over and tuck it. Just tuck it. And I could have set this, honestly, on the pan prior to doing it, just to make sure. Just pinch it, roll it. It's rustic, so it's not a big deal. There we go. And you've got yourself a calzone. I'm just gonna pick this up and see. It's so versatile and easy. And you can just give it a little twist, a little turn, a little pinch so that it is going to steam in there. One thing I will do with this one, I didn't, is I have some of this pasta oil. It's olive oil infused with garlic and basil. I've got this one and I've got one that's red pepper. So while I'm at it, just to give it a little shine, I'll do a little drizzle of that on top. Use my fingers, give it a little rub. Put those little herbs on top. And grab that. And I think what I will also do, y'all, is I have 3 jars, but of course finding one at the front of this is not as easily said as done. My gosh. Where are we at here? Oregano. My goodness. Well, one thing is, too, I have family, and they get into my stuff, but they don't ever put it back where it goes. There's some. Good Lord. I know you guys just wanted to look at my backside, the whole side, but I'm going to take some of this garlic, everything bagel, and just go ahead and pop that on top, too. I should be able to pull that other pizza out and pop this one in. There we go. Oh my goodness, y'all. Isn't that a beautiful pizza? It is beautiful. I want to see some hearts and some likes, but this is not Facebook. Let's see here. You do want to let this cool down for a minute and set up. Nutrition is a good place to get lupin flour. Somebody grinds Ursula grinds her whole psyllium in the grinder, leaving it whole creates a purple hue to baked goods. Only the certain brands do. I don't get a purple hue when I'm using mine. Dawn says, yum, pizza. Don't want to run to the store to buy whole psyllium since I only have the powder. So yeah, you don't have to use powdered. I just do because it's what I have available. So if you're using powdered instead of whole, for this recipe, it doesn't make a difference. They're both interchangeable. But say you were making the bread recipe I have, then you would reduce by 1 tablespoon if you're using powdered. Deep fried calzone is awesome. Oh, I bet. Every recipe I've tried from you has been so good. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Can I warm up the dough in a conventional oven? I don't have a micro. Yes, you should. And you could probably do a double boiler method. That's where you take a pan and put a little bit of water in it, set a bowl, a heat-proof bowl, glass or metal, on top of it, and turn it on, and you're just letting the steam do the work. And you could definitely melt your cheese completely and stir it that way. So you could use the stovetop Dutch oven method to do that. Looks delicious. Is the Lupin lower carb than the almond and coconut? Yes. I mean, let's see if we can do a comparison. I already know that off the top of my head, per serving, which is a 1/4 cup, that it's 12 total carbohydrates with 11 grams of fiber. So it's 1 net carb per 1/4 cup. Now let me take a look at my almond flour, which I have right here. And this is 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons has 3 carbohydrates and 2 grams of fiber. So it stands to serve that it's 1 net carb per serving. And so for a 1/4 cup, we are talking 8 times 3. So 20 something carbohydrates, and it's still gonna be 1 net carb, but again, it's gonna be a higher carb count. And for me, they have PUFAs, and which is a polyunsaturated fatty something. I don't have it in my head. I'm not the scientist, but they're inflammatory. So let me grab this real quick, y'all. And what I like to do is just pick up the pan and, oops, I got a little bit of, let me get a spatula here. A little spatula, I don't need that big giant one. Just a smaller one right here. And I'll just lift off these little edges that kind of stuck. Because my crust was not perfectly round. My paper was perfectly round, but there we go. So I had a few little sticky edges there. But I want to show you right now how you can, and I can hear it when I break through the other side. Crunch, crunch. It's like, oh yeah. So up to you on a pizza this size. Do you want to do it in 1/8 or do you want to do it in 6? I think that this pizza is large enough that I can go ahead and get 8 servings out of it with no problem. When I would make fathead pizza dough, I usually only got 6, and that was the suggested serving size. Let me get a plate, and I will tell you this tastes just as good the next day. Get a saucer here. And I will just slide that right there. Now, as it is a little limp, but I want you to see that it is a little soft when you first lift it up, but it is liftable. And if you give this, it's so hot. If you give this just a few minutes to cool down, you can pick this up and eat it for sure, no problem. Again, I've made these for breakfast and put breakfast toppings on them. And it's a whole pan, so it's delicious. Again, you could get 4. Let me do this for you guys. What's so wonderful is the crust itself doesn't have that heavy cheese flavor, and it's so strange because the Lupin flour just balances it right out. Yeah, even if you use a pizza stone, you would still need parchment. 4 tablespoons and a 1/4 cup. I think it is. No. 3 tablespoons. I think it's 6. I think it's 6 and a 1/4 cup. Hello from Belgium. I love your videos. We'll be trying this tomorrow evening. Woohoo! Thank you. You could, I don't know, you would have to watch it in the oven, Ursula. Um, you would have to make sure that your dish is heat proof, and then just watch it, because you don't want your cheese to harden. It will harden if it's left in the oven too long. You have a little more control if you were to use it in a double boiler, because as you could stir it as it's melting, and as soon as it's melted, just pull it off. So it's a little easier to be in control of it. I use pizza stone. Let's see. I read that. Yes. There we go. Now, I will tell you, as I was saying this earlier, see, as it sits, then you start getting this wonderful, nice, crusty bottom. You're going to see, with this little pizza crust, how many things I can do with it. I can add baking powder to it. I could add sweetness to it. I can do all kinds of things with it. And I have done it. If you've seen my miracle dough video, then you've seen that I just made all kinds of little things with 4 basic ingredients. But if you add a few things here or there, you can modify that recipe easily. And I really just wanted to focus on how easy it was to make pizza. I could have just taken that, and I should have just rolled it out, cut it into sticks, let it bake, and made breadsticks. It's just another option. But we went with the calzone. So I'm going to move this pizza, because I will be using this pan or this board to pull out that other pan on. There we go. I'll set that there. And I will just use my paper towel to wipe that off. And I will start giving this a check. Now, I will tell you that a calzone, because it is folded over and because the dough is raw, it does take longer. And I need a drink of water. Time is running good. I hope to get better at these daily things on YouTube, or these weekly lives on YouTube, y'all. I knew what I wanted to do going into this year, but I wasn't quite sure how to transition it and make it, I try to keep this 30 minutes or less, and I'm right at 36 minutes or 30 minutes right now. Basically, had I stopped at a pizza, y'all would be done and on your way. But I went ahead and did this calzone, so I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it. Oh, it still has a ways to go, y'all. It's still soft, so it's going to be a good bit. Tell you what I do. Now, if you aren't aware of it, if you are not as familiar with YouTube, when you're on my page, on my channel, you can see where it says videos, and you'll slide that little cross, and it'll say history, or I don't know what it looks like from y'all's point of view, but I do know it says community. So they now have a thing called community, and I can pop right out of here and show y'all. Let me show you this. So when you're looking at a channel, it'll say home, videos, playlist, community. And if you tap it, look, it's just like an Instagram feed or a YouTube or a Facebook feed. So if I wanted to go ahead and cut this video short, for instance, and then just go ahead and post a picture, if you've made pizza, please come over here to my community and post on here. I wonder, I don't know, can you comment and leave pictures and stuff? I don't know. But do that. I will post a picture of the calzone when it's done, because I don't want to keep y'all another 20 minutes. Let me come back over here to my videos. And I'm back into my live. Here we go. Would garlic knots need baking powder? I would definitely use baking powder if you're going to make any kind of bread, because you're going to get that extra little rise. On its own, it's fine. And you can even try adding an egg. I've found all kinds of things. When I add an egg to it, it does another thing. So taking this basic recipe and adding to it to elevate it to get to other places is so easy to do. Lisa, I just got back in. Are we still live? We are still live, Lisa. What brand of Lupin flour do you use? It is Wholesome Provision Miracle Flour. It is sold by the 3-pack on Amazon. It is $29.95. You get 3 1-pound bags individually wrapped and sealed. I like that because then I can take a couple of pounds and put it in my freezer and then just keep out what I need, and I don't have to keep repeat buying it. So very, very, very convenient. I will make sure to share the link after the video and put it in the drop down in the description box. There's 16 teaspoons or tablespoons in a cup divided by 4. Oh, okay, so that's good. I'm not on my math game today, apparently. So let's see here. I wanted to really just give this a chance here. I mean, I should have just wiped it out. I gotta be stronger with y'all. I get in here and I start having fun, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll make something else. And if you can't have peanuts, you shouldn't use it. If you have a peanut allergy, let me put it this way. If you have a peanut allergy, be leery or wary of Lupin flour. It's not guaranteed that you could have a reaction, but you could have a reaction. So approach with caution. Whoops, dot cannot come. Why use Lupin flour? Why? Oh my gosh, why use Lupin flour? Well, my first reason behind Lupin flour is that I have an inflammatory response to almond flour. My second part of it is I only like the taste of coconut flour in little bits. It just, I mean, sorry, I don't want coconut flavored everything unless it's in something sweet. Thirdly, it is on the low glycemic index, Lupin flour is. So, and the carbs are tremendously low. It's high in protein, by the way, per quarter cup, 10 grams of plant protein. So high protein, high fiber, low net carb, no inflammatory response, no spike in my blood sugar, lots of reasons. And then the biggest one is it tastes amazing. I have been able to do so many things, create so many recipes, from cakes that taste like cakes to, you know, pizza, to turnovers, to wontons, to crackers, to I mean, I have made so many fried pies, French fries. My God, I've even made French fries out of this Lupin flour. I was looking to make a pasta. I messed it up. I thought, I'm not wasting it. I'm dropping it in some hot oil. I fried that up, put some seasoned salt, and it tasted just like Arby's curly fries. And I'm like, hot damn. That's why I use Lupin flour. It is so versatile. It tastes delicious. There's so many things I can do. And I don't get the inflammatory response that I get from almond flour when I'm using it. There we go. I like long videos. Don't change. Oh my gosh, y'all. That is one of those both sides of the fence. I get people who comment afterwards, oh my God, I'm so sick of looking at you. You take too long. You sound like Roseanne. Could you just shorten it, please? If you keep it to 10 or 15 minutes, I'd be happy. Would you like me to come to your house and cook for you too? Of course you would. You ain't getting it though, are you? Let's see. It is bean pulp derived, so if you're allergic to legumes, you can't use it. Now, Ursula, that's not fact. That's not true. It is a bean pulp. It is a legume. Yes, peanuts are a legume. Soy is a legume. Pinto beans are a legume. Green beans are, so we have a bean thing. It does not mean that you are allergic to it. I have read extensively. The only thing it does recommend is if you have a peanut allergy, be leery, because it does mimic the peanut plant minus the inflammation, unless of course you're allergic. You might be allergic to peanuts, you might be allergic to soy, but you might not be allergic to pinto beans, you might not be allergic to chickpeas. So, as with anything, always use caution. Tian says, I would assume Tennessee Keto Mama says, I've never tried Lupin flour. It is fantastic. I actually bought it a year ago not this fall, last fall, my first time buying it. And I tried it with cornbread, which it worked out wonderfully. Okay. Since then I've made tortillas and cornbread and wraps and a new keto bread recipe and everything with it. But at first I was very leery of it, and it wasn't, probably it sat in my cabinet for a few months before I just broke it out one day, because I was using almond flour all the time and getting so swollen, and I was starting to swell up just with almonds like I was when I was eating wheat. So it just became a necessity for me to find an alternative. Let's see. Lupin flour is so very versatile and so much lower than almond flour or coconut flour. Yes. Need to see you make tortillas. I can do that. Does it measure up in the same to the same recipes? Here's what I find with the conversion on it, y'all. A half a cup of Lupin flour equals 1 cup of almond flour or wheat flour. So if a recipe calls for a cup of almond flour, or if it calls for a cup of, you know, traditional flour, use half that amount. It's a half a cup. It took me a long time to work that out and figure it out. Just like when you're using coconut flour, 1/3 cup plus 1 egg equals 1 cup traditional flour or 1 cup of almond flour. And that can be quite tricky. Coconut flour is even more difficult for me to work with, because that egg rule doesn't always apply in your recipe that you're making. So I do find it easier. Y'all, I'm like I said, I'm gonna start doing these tutorials once a week. I call them tutorials. They're not. It's my cooking show. It is Everyday Keto with Nancy by Keto for Real Life People. And every week I want to come and share a new recipe with you guys. I might have shared it on YouTube, on Facebook, but I wanted to share these things. Now, I have recipes with Lupin flour already on YouTube, so just scroll through and look to see what you can find there. And I'm sure you'll find tortillas out there and some other things that I made, kung fu chicken, stuff like that. But yes, I have not done the Dark Desire chocolate cake. I don't think I've put it up on YouTube. And that cake is to die for. This cake is so versatile. Again, I love things that you can throw in the microwave or pop in the oven, or make into mini muffins or cupcakes. You can double it, you can triple it. It's wonderful. And if you're familiar with the chocolate cake at Costco, the big tall chocolate, dark chocolate on chocolate cake, that's what this is, and it tastes like it. As a matter of fact, I went to my sister-in-law's birthday party Friday night. They had a whole tray of traditional store-bought cupcakes with pretty little decorations on top, and not one was picked up and even tasted. Will tell you though, I made my little Dark Desire chocolate cake, and I couldn't make the frosting for it, which is just a pure fudge ganache. Hold on, close. A ganache. And so I just took a naked cake, and it's gone. It was just like, everybody was like, oh my God, they're not keto. They're like, there's no sugar in this? No. No, there's no gluten in this. No, there's not. There's no flour in it. There's no sugar in it, you know. It is just that amazing. Let me go check on this. It's starting to smell done. I think it's done. Dun, dun, dun. Now let me bring it around here to you guys so that you can see this beautiful, beautiful. Do you hear that? Now, again, I would highly recommend letting it set, because it's going to be so extremely hot. But for the sake of time, and I wanted you guys to be able to see this, let me grab this plate here, and I'll just put this here, and I'll just grab this here. You could do some dipping sauce. Oh yeah. I feel like a tasty video. Oh yeah. Brown on the bottom, melted completely, and super hot in the center. And you can do a calzone. Yay! Too hot for me to take a bite. Too hot? Hot damn. Okay, so guess what? I don't have to cook dinner tonight because I'm done. Done. Let me find that phone. I should have called myself I'm keto for real life people, but I should have been like the forgetful cook or something like that. Maybe I will be. Oh hell, I don't know what I do with it. Oh, it's over here on the bar stool. So, does it work well in a chaffle recipe? No, not so much. But my waffle recipe works out wonderfully. And as a matter of fact, I came up with a new recipe yesterday that goes in a chaffle, that can go in a pan, or that can go in a microwave. And talk about delicious, that is on its way. That'll be coming soon to a video near you. Am I going to post this recipe? Lisa, it is just miracle dough. If you go to my website, y'all, ketoforreallifepeople.com, look up miracle dough. And the recipe has been sitting there for almost a year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification button. I appreciate everybody. Share the video, share it on Facebook, share it to your friends. Like, you got to watch this chick. Have a wonderful day, and I will be signing off. Remember, fats first, moderate protein, low carb, and get you some. I will see you.